you all for coming. This is not an important deal, but yet it is an important deal when I think the residents read something that will affect their decisions maybe in the image of this administration and the city of Martinsville. I was somewhat saddened and appalled at the same time when I read the recent editor's Our Opinions in the Sunday's Reporter Times and the recent guest column in the Martinsville Reporter by A. Thomas Bruce. First of all, regarding the editor's opinion on what kind of leniency is sought after regarding the cleanup of the vapor intrusion at the former Harmon Becker site, and the mention in the article that neighbors who can't sell their houses and have lived with the contamination for many years and don't want there to be leniency when it comes to getting the problem resolved as quickly as possible. This was, in my opinion, irresponsible journalism and adds to the already confused situations we have in that area. First of all, let me make it perfectly clear that this mayor and my administration would not in any way be a part of any attempt to make light of a serious situation that has gone on now for several years. The safety, the protection of the residents who reside in this area has always and will continue to be our priority and our first concern. To think the city would fail to completely take care of the problem just to broker a deal, as suggested in the editorials in the Sunday paper, is, I think, a shame. Perhaps the word leniency was a poor choice used by this mayor when I stated I was meeting with representatives of IDEM to seek leniency in getting the matter cleared up and ensuring a safe environment for all concerned. In seeking leniency, we are simply asking IDEM to speed up their reviews of all reports regarding this contamination problem and speeding up their recommendations of what must be done to finalize the situation. There has been an ongoing remediation program that has been approved by IDEM for some time, and with a tremendous amount of pressure placed on IDEM from around the state, and I understand their busy schedule, I am meeting with representatives from the state IDEM to seek leniency in placing Martinsville and the Harmon Becker remediation program higher up on their scale of bringing the matter to a close and addressing those reports and giving final answers, and at the same time giving peace of mind to not only the residents of the area but to the city of Martinsville, the owners and prospective buyers of properties in that general area, both residential, commercial, and industrial properties. We are grateful indeed that the present owners of the Harmon Becker property, in cooperation with the prospective purchaser of this property, are willing to hire additional engineers to come in and to get on board to expedite the testings of the land and the adjoining properties, with IDEM's approval, of course, to seek an answer to the reported contamination to all the neighboring properties and the health issues that have been concerned to the residents. Anything less than this is not acceptable to this mayor or to my administration. Reference a second editorial of March 26th, a guest column by Thomas Bruce. I was disappointed by the rather lengthy guest column on March 26th regarding the proposed water rate increase adopted at last week's council meeting. And this was ordered, put in place by the Indiana Finance Authority and the Indiana Utility Regulatory Commission. I agree somewhat with some of Mr. Bruce's comments. They were good in the phasing in of the increases over the years. It would have been easier to accept. But as a matter of fact, had Mr. Bruce attended our council meetings on a regular basis, he would have known that the idea of phasing in water rate increases was suggested by this administration. We were emphatically denied by the powers that be and instructed to introduce the total 16.9% increase all at one time. Fighting this increase at this time was not a political carrot by this mayor, nor an attempt to gain a political advantage. It was just an honest attempt to protect the residents of Martinsville, who I feel have suffered enough, especially financial hardships, the past 3 years through the storms we've had, the tornadoes, and the recent floods. Many of these residents losing all their life's possessions, including their homes and their personal belongings. This administration fully recognizes and acknowledges that water and sewer rates must be regulated to provide the type of services that residents demand. Rates must be studied on a regular basis to ensure proper funding of such expansions in the future. This administration is presently undergoing a new water and sewer rate study, as was announced, to forecast what future needs must be provided and how to finance them. It may very well be that additional rates will be required in the future after the studies are completed. If so, this administration acknowledges that a gradual phasing in of additional increases would be in the best interest of all concerned, residents and the city of Martinsville. And I agree that had this been done years ago, it would have been easier to swallow. However, with the repairs that must be made in the city of Martinsville, new infrastructure, I don't think those raises would have accommodated all that we have accomplished. While we welcome the comments of Mr. Bruce and any other residents of this community, we would encourage them to attend our regular council meetings on a regular basis before reaching their conclusions, or at least talk to this mayor and the administration. Although we believe the reporter has the best interest of the city at heart and has exhibited that on many other occasions, we would suggest the reporter be more observant in allowing guest columnists to write articles, at least before checking facts with those involved, and to continue to work with the city of Martinsville and the Chamber of Commerce to encourage our residents to remain in Martinsville instead of giving them reason to move to other locations. Martinsville is still a great place to live and to raise a family. Thank you. That's all I have to say.